In today's video, we are talking about running back LeVeon Bell and the contractual situation that he has had with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, LeVeon Bell wants to be the highest paid running back in the NFL, and the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't necessarily willing to make him far and above the highest paid running back in the NFL. There's probably beyond a shadow of a doubt that they want to make him the highest paid running back in the NFL, but not high enough and they're not probably necessarily meeting what LeVeon Bell wants. Now, LeVeon Bell, in my opinion, is probably the best running back in the NFL. You can maybe say that David Johnson is better, maybe even Ezekiel Elliott, but LeVeon Bell is really freaking good. Just looking at his stats from this past year, 321 carries this year, which is the highest of his career beyond anything. 1,291 yards, 9 touchdowns, 85 receptions, 655 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's an insane stat line. That's phenomenal. LeVeon Bell is the truth. LeVeon Bell's and I'll say it just for the purpose of this, not just for the purpose of this video, but probably for the future. LeVeon Bell is the best running back in the league. So, what's going to happen? And if he does go on the free agent market, what top teams can you expect to pursue him? Well, let's look at the first scenario of the Pittsburgh Steelers re-signing LeVeon Bell. This is probably the most likely scenario that's going to happen, as good teams usually tend to keep their good players. But we've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers move on from high tier players before. They did it with Emmanuel Sanders. They did it with Mike Wallace. And they've done it with guys like James Harrison, obviously now who is on the New England Patriots. But they've been known, Lawrence Timmons as well, and they've known to get rid of some high-tier players sometimes. However, this situation is completely different. In my opinion, LeVeon Bell is the best running back in the league, and I feel like the Steelers, if LeVeon Bell is serious about his claims that if he receives a franchise tag, he's going to either sit out the next season or retire, I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't going to franchise tag him. They're going to give him the money that LeVeon Bell wants, because he's such a crucial part of that offense, along with Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. That is a very deadly trio, and I think that they would want to keep that, because LeVeon Bell, again, is the best running back in the league. So that's probably what's going to happen. But if he were to hit the market, what teams would have enough money or enough sway to persuade him to join the team? Well, the first team that we're going to be looking at is my favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lot of cap space this year. I believe they're like 4th or 5th in terms of salary cap, with around 60-some million. And their running back situation is not the best. You have Doug Martin, who you can cut now. There will be no guarantee. There's no longer no guarantees in his contract due to his suspension, and he's on a, I believe it's a five-year, $35 million deal, if I'm not mistaken. So you can cut him, and at that point, if you do cut Doug Martin, your best running back is going to be Peyton Barber. The upgrade from LeVeon Bell to Peyton Barber is disgusting. So the Buccaneers certainly do have a lot of money to go ahead and give LeVeon Bell the type of contract that he wants, and he would definitely be an upgrade to the running back situation. Now, obviously, he'd be an upgrade to anybody's running back situation, minus maybe the Cardinals or the Cowboys. But really, bottom line is that, you would probably expect a lot of teams who want LeVeon Bell. But the Buccaneers are one of the teams who need LeVeon Bell, and there's some interesting things there. I mean, an offense with LeVeon Bell is already disgusting, but when you throw in Mike Evans, Jameis Winston, Cameron Braid, O.J. Howard, Deshaun Jackson, Chris Godwin, that offense becomes ungodly, and it also solves your problem of running back, which means when draft time comes, you can either focus on the offensive line, you can draft an edge rusher, you can do a lot of things, you can even trade down. So the Buccaneers are definitely a very interesting team, and they'd be one to watch in this scenario. Moving on, though, the next team that would be more than likely interested is the Cleveland Browns. Holy crap, what happened to the logo, guys? What is happening? It's covering up my face. The Cleveland Browns. There, I fixed it. The Cleveland Browns. So, Cleveland has an ungodly amount of cap space, and they're going to be able to bring in whoever they want. So they're going to be able to give LeVeon Bell all the money he wants and then more. They also have a ton of draft picks, which, might be appealing. You can obviously build through the draft. If you draft a guy like Josh Rosen at number 1, Sam Darnell at number 1, you have Josh Gordon, you have Corey Coleman at wide receiver, and if you have LeVeon Bell running back, that's insane. Fun fact, LeVeon Bell is from Ohio. Yes, he went to college at Michigan State, which I guess you could maybe throw in the Lions in this situation. However, I'd like to think that they probably wouldn't want to pursue that, considering they have Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick. But Cleveland is part of the state where Le'Veon Bell obviously went to high school and all that stuff. He's from Ohio, so you got to think he has a little bit of Ohio bias there. Yes, the Browns aren't that good, but also it's a division rival to the Steelers. Le'Veon Bell might have some revenge thoughts in mind while he's getting all that money. Who's to say? But that would automatically make the Browns an immediate playoff dark horse team. You know, if you have the best running back in the league, and they definitely do have the money to give it to him. Their current running back situation is Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell. However, if they do find out that, hey, maybe Le'Veon Bell is going to be on the market, I could see them saying, go to the market, Isaiah Crowell, go to the market, and we're going to focus on Le'Veon Bell. And if we don't get Le'Veon Bell, then we're going to draft like a Saquon Barkley in the draft. The Cleveland Browns are in a pretty really good situation if you think about it. They can pretty much, they're fine. You know, they can move on from Isaiah Crowell and not have any consequences. So their running back situation is looking, it might look good automatically, but they have the money to go out and get a Le'Veon Bell. The next team, however, and I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, but it's the New England Patriots. Obviously, any top tier free agent is going to be interested to go to New England because that's almost like you're automatically going to be in the playoffs. And I know that's kind of the same way with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Ben Roethlisberger is not as good of a quarterback as Tom Brady. That's a fact. Tom Brady's probably the best quarterback ever. I don't know, maybe Peyton Manning. Maybe I'll make a video of Peyton versus Tom one day. But Tom Brady, let's just call him the best quarterback in the NFL, or in the history of the NFL. He's the best quarterback. And that you automatically have a pretty decent chance to win the Super Bowl at that. And if Tom's not getting any younger, you only have a couple more years. If Le'Veon Bell wanted that ring, which we all know he does, he might be willing to take a pay cut to join the New England Patriots. So you always got to count New England as a team who can sign these star players. They did it with Darrelle Revis. They've done it with multiple other players, like they did it with Randy Moss, and then Randy Moss went off and freaking destroyed everybody's way of life, and then they went 16-0, and it was insane. You know, they've done it with high tier defenders before, and that offense would just be filthy. You know, the New England Patriots like to rotate in their running backs, but you really wouldn't have to with Le'Veon Bell. You really wouldn't have to. So that would also probably open up a whole nother list of intriguing running back options for other teams, because you have all these like receiving backs, like dual hybrid backs on the New England Patriots that they'd probably either A, cut, or B, trade away. So if the Patriots got Le'Veon Bell, that just feel wrong. I probably wouldn't. I'd call the Patriots to win the next like 3 Super Bowls, you know, as long as Tom Brady's playing. But you can never count out the Patriots with this move. The next team, though, that might be willing to sign Le'Veon Bell is the Patriots' division rival, the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins just recently traded away Jay Ajayi, be it weak knees, whatever reason, knee degeneration, whatever reason they wanted to trade him away. But now they have a kind of glaring hole at running back. Yes, you have Kenyon Drake, I believe his name is, and Damian Williams. But again, it's that scenario of Le'Veon Bell is literally an upgrade for everybody except for the Cardinals and the Cowboys, pretty much. And Miami's probably got the money to do it, and you throw in Jarvis Landry, Devontae Parker, Ryan Tannehill when he comes back from injury, and if they decide to move on from Tannehill, Jay Cutler or another quarterback that they sign in free agency, maybe like a Teddy Bridgewater or a Sam Bradford, or a AJ McCarron, or maybe even Jimmy Garoppolo if he hits the free agent market, which he won't. But you know that it's an intriguing offense, obviously, and Miami's offensive line isn't that good, but if you improve on that offensive line and Le'Veon Bell is on that team, obviously it's just going to get disgusting. They have the money to do it, and it wouldn't be that bad of a fit in my opinion. I feel like that they would run the ball with Le'Veon a lot. And, you know, it honestly wouldn't be that bad of a fit in my opinion. They like to run usually, Miami does, so I could see it working. I could obviously see it working with any team, but Miami would definitely be one of those teams where saying, we don't really have that great of a running back situation. Let's go get Le'Veon Bell. Let's try, you know. But then the final team that we're going to be talking about, and this is they probably have the worst running backs. They don't have the worst running back situation, but they have the most interesting one. And they do have a little bit of money, and they have an owner who would really, really just say, go, you know, just go get this guy. And that is the Indianapolis Colts. Now, Jim Irsay is literally going to do anything he can to get Le'Veon Bell if Le'Veon Bell's on the free agent market. You have Frank Gore, who, God bless Frank Gore. I'll probably make a video about Frank Gore in the future. God bless Frank Gore. Probably the most underrated running back in the current generation of the NFL. He's great, but he's also very old, and he might even be retiring at the end of the year. We don't know yet. You also have Marlon Mack, who's very intriguing, but it appears that the Colts probably don't really trust him that much to be the starter right now. And then after that, you have they cut Robert Turbin. I think they did. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they put him on the IR. You have Marlon Mack. That's the only guy who I can remember. So they really need a young, fresh running back, and what better guy than Le'Veon Bell? If the Colts can create cap space, or maybe they already have the cap space, I'm not sure which yet. You go out there, you get a Le'Veon Bell, and if Andrew Luck comes back from his injury, you have an insanely good quarterback in Andrew Luck, and you have an insanely good running back in Le'Veon Bell, and you have T.Y. Hilton, Dante Moncrief, you have Jack Doyle at tight end. That's not a bad offense at all. And I think Andrew Luck would probably finally have the supporting cast around him to really take the Colts deep into the playoffs again. Because Andrew Luck's, in my opinion, when he's fully healthy and playing to the best of his abilities, top 5 quarterback in the NFL easily. Andrew Luck's insane. He just needs to get healthy. So I really do think the Colts could do that. And all these teams obviously don't have the best running back situations, minus maybe the Patriots and a little bit the Browns. But, the Colts are a really interesting team too. They could really be a team that would go out there and get Le'Veon Bell. The owner would probably throw everything at Le'Veon, but all these other teams probably would too. So really, you got the Colts, you've got the Dolphins, you've got the Patriots, you've got the Browns, and you've got the Buccaneers as all these teams who could probably make a run at Le'Veon Bell. But besides the teams that I've mentioned, guys, which teams do you think would go for Le'Veon Bell? Let me know down in the comment section below. I know pretty much every team should at least consider it, minus, again, Cowboys and Cardinals. But what teams do you think would realistically go for Le'Veon Bell, who don't have the best running back situations and who have the money to give Le'Veon Bell the contract that he wants while filling other holes in their rosters as well? I'd love to hear your guys' opinions of it. Let me know. But as always, guys, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. And until then, goodbye for now, guys.